Tonight, guys, I'm going to answer two tough questions everyone has been asking. Question number one, is it worth renting for the rest of your life or paying property taxes for the rest of your life? What is cheaper? What is better? We're going to answer that tonight. Question number two, is it worth leaving California to go to Texas? No state income tax, but higher property tax. Do you get more bang for your buck? As you can tell, tonight we are going to go over property taxes. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a huge favor. Please hit the subscribe or notification button so you're notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube at 9 o'clock and Tuesday night on Instagram. Welcome to What's a Mortgage, guys. Also, this is an interactive channel, so ask a lot of questions. If you have mortgage questions, we have mortgage answers. So the big debate, it is on. Yes, it's gonna get hot up in her. If you are in the comments, be nice. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Everyone has a right to their decisions on what they're gonna do. My goal is to present the numbers, and it is your goal to make the best decision for you and your family. But before we get into that, what are property taxes? That's the question we should answer first. Property tax is a tax paid on property owned by an individual or legal entity such as a corporation. Property taxes are imposed. Yes, they are imposed. That means you gotta pay them by the government to generate money for a public purpose. There is no way around property taxes. If you are buying a single family home, a condo, a townhouse, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, or a manufactured home, you will have property tax. So let's just digest it really quick. Take it all in, digest it, breathe it in. You will have taxes. There's some crazy people out there and some hermits say they can avoid property taxes and avoid rent. But most Americans or most people who live in the United States cannot. So the sooner you accept it, the easier it is gonna be. But the goal is, how do we keep those taxes or those costs from going up? So where does all this money go? If you are going to pay tax, my wife says it all the time. Where is all my money going? Where's all my property tax going? Where does your property tax money go? All revenues from property taxes are allocated to local governments. Property tax revenue remains within the county in which it is collected and is used exclusively by local governments, schools, county office of education, fire department, county water, recreation and parks, hospitals, and sanitation. So every month when you make that property tax payment, or twice a year, it is going to the community you live in. Can you choose like, well, I want my money going here and not there? No, they collect it and they distribute it. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, why isn't the school system better if my money's going there? Why are teachers not being paid more? If we pay the taxes and who we elect, they distribute the money. Yes, you have to pay taxes. And yes, it does go somewhere. Where it goes to the community you are living in. Property taxes are different in different cities. So it's not by county, it's by city. Every city is going to be different. Property tax vary widely from city to city, so it's not the county you are buying the house in, it's the city. So remember that when you are trying to do your homework to see if it's worth buying in that city. You can check with your local assessors or municipalities websites or call the tax office for a more exact figure for your home. And I see people do it all the time now. Depending on where you're going to buy, you want to look up the city tax rate. Why is that important? Imagine if you talk to a lender and you tell them, I'm going to buy in Long Beach, California. And then for some reason, you find the home of your dreams in Compton. I know some of you guys are in Compton. Yes, they have redone Compton. Compton has a higher tax rate than Long Beach. What happens if you got qualified for a home in Long Beach and you went to Compton? Now the tax rate is higher, which means you qualify for less home. So as you're out there trying to qualify for home ownership, make sure you know the cities you want to buy in. You want to call the county, give them the list, or give your real estate agent the list so they can look up the city tax rate. Once you get the city tax rate, you can put all the numbers in and then recalculate, because you might fall in love with the house, but you might not qualify because of the city tax rate. Here's an example. Let's say the nationwide or California tax rate is 1.25. Nationwide is 1.07. Of course, if you are looking in Texas, New York, and New Jersey, they're a little bit higher. And we'll go over that in just a second regarding California versus Texas. So when you're looking to buy, remember, As the price increases, your property tax increase. So we did a tax rate of 1.25. So typically it is the purchase price times the city tax rate divided by 12. If it's annually, you don't have to divide by 12. If you pay twice a year, divided by 2. If you want to know monthly, take the purchase price, times it by the city tax rate. Here's 1.25 divided by 12. So on 400,000, 416, 850, $885 for taxes. Let's say you buy a house and the tax rate does go up. You have to know the tax rate so you can calculate your supplemental taxes. If you haven't seen our video on supplemental taxes yet, definitely go to our YouTube channel, and our video on supplemental taxes is on our page. And here's something else you need to know. When will regular tax assessment happen? So when you buy a house, the property will be reassessed when you make improvements to the property, or you are added, or someone is taken off title. When you buy a property, you are added to title. So they will reassess the taxes based on the price you're buying the home at. If you remove someone from title and you add someone else, they will go out and reassess the property to increase your tax bill. So be very careful adding someone new to title. Let's say you bought the home 10 years ago and you add somebody. You better make sure you let them know who you're adding. Of course, if you add your child, different story. You add your cousin, a nephew, or you change it out of an LLC, and on that LLC, there's someone else's name on there that wasn't originally on title, they will bring up your property taxes. That's why when you buy a home, you want to add whoever you want to right in the beginning. If it's not a kin or a spouse, they will bring up your property tax. It's like you bought the home all over again. I see it happen all the time. It happened to my brother and I. We went out, my brother was added to my parents' house, and when that happened, we didn't notify the assessor. It was my brother, which is my dad's son, and because of that, they reassessed the property. They give you 24 months to fix it. Of course, we lollygagged, and we waited till the last 6 months. You know what the city and the tax assessor did? They took their sweet time. So time passed, and we were not able to get it fixed. My parents bought the home for $191,000 in 1991. My brother had the property reassessed at $550. Crazy. Broke our hearts. Nothing we can do. My dad almost spin kicked my brother and me in the face. We had to go back, and now we're paying the taxes. So be very careful. You want to know the tax rate, and you want to know when it gets reassessed, what number is going to change. Also, it happens to a lot of people right now. There's more people pulling money out of their house than they've ever had historically because we have tons of equity. If you do any home improvement that requires permits, they will reassess the property on today's value. So many people are doing kind of low-key ADUs. If you do any upgrade that puts lipstick on a pig, which means it doesn't require permits, they're not gonna do anything. You go out there, you throw a pool on that house, change the roof, no big deal, but you put a pool, you add square footage, you add another floor, they will come out and reassess it. And think about this, it takes equity to renovate. So if you buy a home 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 15 years ago, and all of a sudden you have this equity, and you know right now a lot of people are not moving because there are not a lot of homes out there for sale. So they're renovating their home, or they're adding square footage so someone else can move in. And when you do that and they give you permits, they're going to come out and reassess the property based on the tax rate and based on your assessed value. So be very careful. So that's when they reassess it. Also, when you do buy a home, they do reassess it in January. January every year, the property gets reassessed. In California, there's a rule where they can't increase it more than 2% a year, which we'll go over in a second. But your property is due in California twice a year, once in November, December, and once again in February, March. It's due twice a year, and it's on fiscal year. So it's from July to June. So let's say in January 21, your property gets assessed. Every year, your property gets assessed in California. Other states work differently, but in California, it gets assessed every year at 2%, which we'll go over in a second. And that's for July of that year till June of the following year. Okay, here we go. Property taxes are due November 1st. It is late in December. February 1st, late in April for the second installment payment. A lot to take in, but you guys should know this. I don't know why loan officers and realtors don't go over property taxes with their clients. They either don't want to explain it because, people don't want to talk about costs because costs might scare people away from buying a home, but it is reality, it is the truth, and you should definitely know about property taxes. So, now we know they get assessed January, especially in California. Every state, I think, does do January, but fiscal year and non-fiscal year, we don't know yet. That every state is different. California, for sure, fiscal year. It is paid due twice a year. So when they're collecting your impounds, they're going to pay it twice a year, or you are going to pay it twice a year. And it's due November and February. Let's talk about Prop 13 in California. This is what protects Californians after 1976. Values were going up like crazy in 1976. Other states, they might assess the property every year based on the new value. Depends if the state needs money. And you know the way our state works, we always need the money. So to stop the state from hijacking our equity, hijacking our money, Prop 13 came out. So every year, the property is only allowed to be assessed 2% a year. So you bought a home for $400,000, next year, 2%, 2%, and then on. When they put this on the ballot to X-nay Prop 13, you give them the finger. If you're in California, I know they try to do that little sneaky and slide in commercial properties. They started with commercials to see if that was going to fly, and it didn't pass. If that would have passed, you know they're coming after residential next. So if you live in California, when you hear Prop 13, or you'll see the bat call, oh, right? That's not a bat, that's like my bird call, oh, right? Get off your bum and go vote. Prop 13. Protect Prop 13 if you're in California. If not, they're going to reassess it based on the new value. Okay, so Prop 13 is there to protect you. And now let's talk about how taxes are paid. When you buy a house, impounds. So when they collect impounds, they pay your property taxes if your account is impounded. If you're going with a government loan, they are impounds. If you don't go with the government loans, there is a way you don't pay impounds. If you go with a conventional loan, 20% down or more in the United States, your account does not have to be impounded. In California, if you put down 10.01%, you can opt out of impound. So when you look at your closing costs, you see those tax insurance, it's the impounds they're collecting to pay. And here is the impound schedule. There's a scenario, let's say property taxes is $666.67. Where did I get that number? You'll see in a second. If you fund in March, they're going to collect 3 months of impound, which is $2,000.01. If you fund in August, they're going to collect 8 months, $5,333. So this impound schedule, like, man, how do I get a copy of this? Go to whatsamortgage.com, download our ultimate mortgage guide. And in our guide, in our what the fee section, we have this tax impound schedule. Hopefully this helps you out on understanding more about property taxes. Of course, if you're in California, this video should help you a lot. Save this video. If you are gonna buy a house or if you own a house, save this video. If you know anyone who owns a house or who's gonna own a house, share this video, tag this video. And if this video brought you any value, do me a favor, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Before we answer the 2 most important questions people ask, do me a huge favor, leave a comment. Leave a comment because we're about to do Q&A. So after I answer the 2 questions, I'm going to go directly into Q&A. So if you have mortgage questions, I will have mortgage answers for you. All right? Let's look at the war right now. Property taxes versus rent. So here's an address on 7151 Helena Place, Fontana, California, 92336. It was pulled on 301. You can check out that link yourself if you want. Right now, we pulled it up on rentometer.com. The house rents for $3,000 a month. 3 years from now, with 3% inflation, the house is going to rent for about $3,300 a month. In 30 years, let's say you never bought a home or you stay in that house, rent continue goes up, you're going to pay about $7,300 a month for rent. So remember that it is okay to rent, but if you do rent, have some expectation knowing that rent is going to go up every year. And in 30 years, if you never buy a home and you were paying $3,000 a month for rent, get ready to pay $7,300 a month for rent. Or you got to move somewhere far away where rent is a lot cheaper. But if you plan on living where you live right now, or you plan on living because all your family member lives in this area, understand that rent will go up. So people argue with me all the time. Well, if I buy a house, I'm going to have to pay property taxes forever. Well, if you don't pay property taxes forever, you are going to pay rent forever. So you decide what you want to pay. Let's say we bought this home off of Helena. We did the mortgage payment. 5% down. Let me pull it up really quick here. So you see this home right now, $640,000. Loan amount 608. Right now, today's rate is 4%. APR 4.177, right? $32,000 out of pocket. Closing cost $12,800. Your total out of pocket is about $45,000. Your principal and interest. Property tax right there, right? $667.67. That's where I got it from. Mortgage insurance, $222. You know, of course, as you have more equity, this thing will fall off. $80 a month for hazard. You're going to pay $38.72. So buying a home is more expensive up front. Whoever told you it's not is lying. But you're going to pay that $38.72 day one. Year 3, when your PMI comes off, you're going to pay $36.90. But 30 years from now, As property taxes go up 2% with Prop 13 protecting you, you're going to pay $1,208. So in 30 years, when you're retired and you can't work anymore, we don't know if you're going to have Social Security or not, but would you rather pay the $72.81 when you're 30 years down the road, when you can't work anymore? You might be balling out of control with some huge 401k and you were able to take your money because you didn't buy a home and you have tons of money. But remember, that tons of money you have, you're going to pay $72.81, $7,300 a month for rent instead of the $1,208 because you were able to invest your money somewhere and now you got to use that money to pay all that rent, or you own a home. That's why I tell people, if you know where to invest your money and make money, a lot of it, do not buy a home. But if you don't know what to do with your money, like I don't, right? I don't know exactly what to do with my money. I'd rather buy a home and pay property taxes for the rest of my life because it is still cheaper than paying rent. So that is explanation number one. Now let's talk about the second battle. Let's go to California versus Texas really quick here. Typically right now, let's say you do live in California, but it's overpriced. So in California, purchase price $650,000. I know they're higher than that. I'm just using as an example. $650,000, 5% down, total out of pocket, right? About $46,000. Total payments $4,022. Like, forget this. I'm leaving California. If I'm going to pay $650,000, I want to get a house in Texas for $650,000. I'm going to get more bang for my buck. But remember, property tax in California is about 1.25. In Texas, here we go, $555,000. So you're going to lose about $100,000 in purchase buying power out in Texas. Still might be worth it because other things are cheaper. There's no state income tax. By the way, if you make $100,000 a year, state income tax is only $4,000. So you know if you leave California. And will you find a job that makes $100,000? If you do, or you still make California money but live in Texas, that's good for you. But you're gonna get a house for $555,000. Is it gonna be bigger than the house for $650,000? Most likely. But the comparables is almost identical. At $555,000, 4.25, 5% down, because the tax rate is 2.5 right here. Your payment, $38,000 same down payment out of pocket, about $4,012. So if you decide to leave California to go to Texas, just know because of the property tax rate, you're going to go down in purchase price. You're not going to get the same buying power because of property taxes. Yes, you'll save money on state income tax. How much you're going to save depends on how much you make. If you can still make that type of money in Texas. I'm not saying that California is better. I'm sure that $555,000 in Texas gets you more bang for your buck. But if you leave from California to Texas, will you still make the money to buy a $550,000 house compared to $650,000 in California? Of course, if you make the money and you can move to Texas, good for you. But if you can't, or if you're like, hey, I'm going to get more bang for my buck, run the numbers first. Check out the property tax. That's why it's important to always know the property tax. So you know to buy or rent, or you know to move or not move. Run the numbers so you can run your life. Hopefully that helps you guys out. That's everything you need to know about property taxes. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, do me a huge favor. Save this video, share this video, and like this video. All right, guys. Also leave some comments below if you have some Q&A. If you're not following us by now, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, please. Hit it so every week when we post a new video or we go live, you get notified. Remember, Monday, 9 p.m., Facebook, YouTube, Tuesday, Instagram. Okay, and we post content daily on Instagram and TikTok if you haven't checked those out yet. Our goal is to run the numbers so you can run your life. Also, if you do need help, you want to run the numbers, see if it's worth it, give us a call, 714-790-9697, or you can email us info@whatsamortgage or text us, okay? Let's go some Q&A here really quick. We want to end all our episodes with our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there would be no us. So thank you guys so much and enjoy the rest of the night.